Ladies and gentlemen, metalheads all over the world, wherever you may be, welcome back to the Horsemen Podcast. We are at episode 88. Oh, dear Lord, what could I be doing with my life? But regardless, and a real quick note, just a quick apology for how I might be sounding during this episode. I'm a little under the weather because, well, fall and autumn likes to fuck me up so bad in the nose. So I'm going to be a little nasally today, but I'm not going to let that stop me from doing this episode because we have a special guest here today. Please welcome to the show from Castrator, Carolina Perez. How are you, madam?
Hello, thanks for having me. Good.
We're glad to have you, especially considering, this album has just been killer listening back and even getting the debut, and now I have everything so far, at least until more
Thank you.
is to come. And you're welcome for that. So yeah, for those who are unaware of Castrator, all lady death metal band based out of New York, I believe.
We started in New York, but we're not in New York anymore.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So
And
now I'm in Ohio. Clarissa and Sarah are in Pittsburgh, and Robin is in Florida.
figures as such. But yeah, all stars, all badasses that write some awesome riffs that remind me of the old school death metal days, even though I was barely alive when that era started. I didn't get into it till high school, obviously, but still going back, and it's like, oh, just, again, and we talked about this earlier when we were bringing up my CDs, how I wish the time machine could be invented and I can go back in time, as I am now, back to the late 80s, early 90s, buy CDs as they were coming out. There goes my voice again. And buying albums as they come out and going to shows when bands are at their infancy, as opposed
Yeah.
to all these years later and some bands not even around, sadly. But regardless, so yeah, awesome band Castrator is, and I can't wait for whatever may be coming next down the road. I guess a good way to get started is basically the same as I do with everybody I have, whether a guest or a friend that's on here, about the origin of the metalhead within, because everybody's origin points into music in general is very different. But for you, Carolina, where did music enter your life, and then eventually metal, and then finally entering the rabbit hole of death metal?
Well, I started being very rebellious when I was like a teenager, like pretty even preteens, like 12 and 13. And I'm from Colombia,
Hmm.
Medellin, Colombia, and my brother and I started just he plays guitar, and I had a little like drum, like hand drum, and we just started like jamming on it and like just be, silly teens. And then we really liked it, and then I asked my mom to get me drum lessons, and I was 13. I was 13 or 14, and she did, and I really really liked it, and I found my passion. So unfortunately, we had to move to the States when I was 15 because of, I had to like escape the violence. And that was just, like another reason for me to be even more rebellious and find comfort in music that I connected with, which, Sepultura, Slayer, it's just inevitable to connect with those lyrics when you're actually going through stuff like that. So, I really liked it, and then we came to the States and went to high school and just kept going. And we had a band in New York. We moved to New York City, and we had a band called Sabotage with double T, and we actually played a few shows. It was pretty heavy actually, and we recorded like a demo, and then we had a jam room where there was a lot of other metal, like super advanced death metal bands, and we wanted to sound like that. So we were around a lot of very talented people. There was a drummer. There was a band called Secrecy. They're all Colombians too, and they were very technical, very good, and the drummer was insane. He was like one of my biggest inspirations at the time because he was just so fast, and he was always there. He was always practicing. I was like, I want to be like that. So he, inspired me to be better. And being in New York, you're exposed to like the best shows. Like every band comes to New York. So I was, like lucky enough to see the greats. This was like back in 2000. Yeah, when I moved to New York.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just kept going. I really like to play extreme, fast drums.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
actually, because funny enough, I play drums too. I wouldn't consider myself to be anything good or anyone particularly good. Like, it was mostly out of hobby because, like, anytime I was listening to music, like, the things that, like, I love everything about a song musically, whether it be the guitars, bass, drums, vocals, keyboards, what have you. But something about drums, I just like flailing my arms around and going
Yeah.
fast on my feet. My only issue is getting my legs and arms to cooperate together, especially whenever
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
attempting to play like death metal or thrash metal songs, trying to play the Slayer beat or blast beats. I can't
Yeah,
ever
you have
get
to
my
work
arms and
on
legs. I can never get my arms and legs to cooperate together without sounding like complete ass or getting tired too easily because, well, I am a chubbier dude. But at the same time, like, it was just an outlet just to be like, I wonder what it would be like to play drums. I actually have an electronic kit. It's just in pieces, broken down in my closet now because I got literally no room in this office for really anything else other than this desk, my recording table, garbage can, treadmill, fan, shelf. Basically, I got nothing unless I were to have a makeshift studio built out in the backyard and just put everything in there, but that probably never happened. But regardless, but actually, I wanted to ask you more about drumming in particular because that's a common thing. Not only both of us in Ohio, which is awesome, but also both of us
Yeah.
drummers. Even though I wouldn't call myself a good one, but regardless,
Yeah.
actually, when I was listening to the new album, actually, like hearing all the different styles you're doing, like whether it be like blasting, the double time, triplet rhythms, or thrash, I came to the conclusion that if I had to say like the styles of drummers that you reminded me of, kind of like a hybrid of Mike Smith, Pete Sandoval, and even Bill Andrews from Death and Massacre kind of remind me of all three of them in the one because it's like even down to the music, like I even said because you saw the review, like a lot of the melodies and harmonies were very much like spiritual healing era death, and some of the riffing, like I can't remember because I haven't watched my review back, but I believe I said in one track that like it gets so crushing and groovy that it just made me think of Suffocation to a T. But
Yeah.
like, who were some of the biggest drumming influences for you that made you or shaped your style to
Those three
say
are
the least?
definitely very influential for me. Igor Cavalera, huge influence for me. Steve Ashen from DSI, huge influence for me. John Longstreth, yeah, I
Mm,
actually was lucky enough to have some lessons with him. He's a dear friend of mine. Um, I mean, there's so many. Pete Sandoval definitely a huge influence for me, as well as Mike Smith. I mean, I've been told that my whole entire drumming career because he's just like Suffocation is one of my favorite bands. But I also, I pretty much like love any good drummer that I can just take any little bit of advice or stylistic approach and incorporate it into my playing, like Lily Grover from Defeated Sanity, or yeah. And
yeah,
then
that
good old Tom Hunting from Exodus, huge. I mean, huge influence for me. There's so many drummers. There's just,
yeah, and Tom
yeah.
Hunting still kills it even at 60 years old. It's
I
insane.
know. It's crazy. Yeah, so good. I mean, Tardy from Obituary, even though he's super precise, and yeah, it's just so many good drummers out there. Like I said, anybody that I can just take. I mean, also huge influence for me, Dave Lombardo.
Me too. Yep.
Of course, yeah. Lars
Yeah,
too, even though Lars is not like an extreme drummer, but his placing of fills and stuff are very unique. He's a very unique drummer, very underrated drummer.
I would actually agree because, like, I mean, everybody says what they want about Lars. We all have. I mean, Metallica, my favorite band of all time. Even though I have to admit, I do wish Lars could have pushed himself a little bit more, especially after And Justice for All, because, like, people that want to say Lars is a bad drummer clearly didn't listen to And Justice for All. Like, that was his best performance on drums.
Master of Puppets.
Master of Puppets too, but most especially Justice because of like him going to town on the double kick and placing fills where they needed to be, and of course the tones could have been a little bit better. I mean, then again, everybody can debate all they want about the Injustice production, obviously, but regardless, yeah, I would agree to an extent. Yeah, Lars is underrated,
Yeah,
especially for his
exactly. I mean,
'80s work.
yeah, like at one point he was definitely like a big
Pioneering.
part of his career was very pioneer and very influential, and just how he decided to place accents and fills was very unconventional.
Yeah. I mean, also, the opening fill on Motor Breath. That's one of my favorite
Yeah,
drum openings of all
actually,
time.
yeah.
So there you have it with that. But now it comes down to the big question. I brought up earlier, I was uploading my Dark Angel review because I'd completely forgotten. Spoiler alert.
Gene Hoglan too.
Yeah, Gene
Gene Hoglan,
Hoglan. Gene
yeah,
Hoglan may be my personal favorite. It's
yeah.
definitely between he and Lombardo, and that
It's just
begs the
so hard,
question.
It's like there's so many. It's like when you ask me about a list, it's like I could just go on all day. It's just so
I
many.
can too. I mean, I go on all day about this stuff too, believe you and me. But I was gonna say, like, I even brought up in the Dark Angel review, which, spoiler alert to those who haven't seen it, I wasn't the nicest on that one. I'm sorry. But,
Oh,
yeah, I don't know what happened. But Gene put on a great performance. That's
yeah,
best
it's
you can
awesome.
say. But I brought up, like, it's definitely like when people say who is the greatest drummer in metal history, like people always have a different answer. To me, it's like a two-horse race between Lombardo and Hoagland. Even though
I don't know.
I heard the
I mean,
stories
Sean
that,
Ryder.
like, yeah, Sean Reinert, Mike Portnoy,
Yeah,
Danny
I actually
Carey.
I am not a Portnoy fan. Never have been.
Aw, man.
Yeah, that's the one where you lose me. I can't connect with him. Yeah, he's a great drummer and all, but I cannot find the soul in his playing, and just never connected with him. Like,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Then again, I guess one reason I love Portnoy so much is that you can put him in any band and he would
yeah,
adapt pretty damn well. I mean, hell, doing the drums on Avenged Sevenfold Nightmare after we lost the Rev and nailed the Rev style to a T.
I
So
think it has a
I
lot
could
to do
picture.
with me. I actually saw him in a small show in New York at some Vitus, and he like threw a fit, and he was such a big baby about it, and he was
Ah,
I was just like so disappointed. I was just like, ah, nope, yeah.
yeah.
I was excited to go see them. They were playing like it was like an all-star cover band when they were doing that back in like 2015.
Oh,
Uh,
Metal Allegiance.
yeah, they were doing Metal Allegiance, and he was having like some sort of problem, and he like got up and threw shit away everywhere. He threw such a fit. I was like, that is so unprofessional. It's just like
Yeah.
not. Well, it's not fair. It's a small venue. It's just being ridiculous, and I was like, yep, nope.
Ah.
It ruined it for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
but like other drummers we could talk a lot about. I mean, of course, the origin of it all, Bill Ward. I mean, you
Oh,
listen back,
totally. Good.
yeah, that
Yeah.
jazz
Yeah.
background he has is always so
Yeah.
amazing. And from what I did see of the Sabbath farewell show, did a solid job despite being a
Yeah.
lot older now. Did a solid job.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think
God,
it's very important, even if you're a death metal drummer, to just just play and practice other techniques and other styles because it just makes you a better drummer. Like part of my routine before I start playing death metal is always like playing like Picaro style shuffles or Purdy shuffles or just jazz or 6-stroke rolls and stuff like that. It's just very important to just do other stuff that's not metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like anytime I hear about drum terminology, like paradiddles and stroke rolls,
Yep.
I'm usually the kind of guy who's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I like metal. I like metal.
Yeah.
You want some
Well,
sandwiches?
that's different. Like when you want to call yourself a professional drummer,
Right.
and you have to treat it as such. You
Yeah.
have to study and you have to like really go dive into all the different terminologies and all that stuff.
Yeah. There's this one drummer I watch quite a bit on Instagram. I can never remember his name. It was like Mauricio, something like that. Like
Oh
Mauricio
yeah, the
Extreme
Brazilian guy.
Drums.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Yeah, like I love how he'll like learn parts of like crazy moments on songs,
Mhm.
do them slow, and then do it at full speed. I'm like, dude, I need to pick
Yeah.
up on some of those tricks on some of those songs, especially
Yeah,
like
and he's great.
I mean, the one song I feel like I would absolutely fail at if I tried, even if I got to the point of being a good drummer, I don't think I could be able to do "Bleed" by Meshuggah just because, like, oh my
You
god,
can just you can. I mean, it took me forever to get that beat, but
yeah,
it's very challenging, and it's just it's good for you to just work on it, even if it takes you 6 months, a year. You don't have to work on it constantly, but you incorporate it into your routine where you can practice 20 minutes a day, at super slow speed. And once your body gets it, you just speed it up a little bit more and more. And then before you know it, you have it.
yeah. But now getting into how Castrator started, like when it started, since I believe you and Robin have been the main ones in the band from the very beginning. How did it all
Yeah,
come together?
since 2013, even maybe even 2012. We both used to play in other bands, and she came through New York City playing with a.k.a. And I don't remember if we opened the show. My other band, Hypoxia, which was like my main band back in New York City, my baby. Um, we were at some Vitas, and I really liked Circada, and I approached her. I was like, hey, if you ever need a drummer or if you ever want to jam, I'm down. She's like, oh yeah, I'll be taken. And we just started joking around, having an all-female, old-school death metal band. And it took a while because it's really hard to find female death metal lifers. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of female musicians, but specifically that connect with old school death metal is not that easy.
very, very challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a long process. We went through a lot of trials and tribulations, but we feel like right now we definitely have reached that point where we have a really solid lineup. And
Yeah. And I still am blown away, actually, because Robin, I first remember her from being a merch girl for many years for
yeah,
Cannibal Corpse, because like I
yeah,
watch, hell, I
she
was
is.
just watching the Centuries of Torment documentary a few times this week, and I kept forgetting. Yeah, she did merch for so many bands, and then
Oh yeah.
seeing. I think the first time I ever saw anything with her playing bass was with Gruesome. I believe it was for the music video for Dimensions of Horror, and I'm like, she looks a little familiar. Wait a minute, that's Robin, the merch girl for Cannibal Corpse. She plays bass. Damn,
Yeah.
she's killer. And then
She's,
obviously
yeah,
research and
she
such.
actually little trivia thing for you here. She actually played in an all-female death metal band from in the 90s from Florida. Super underrated. Nobody knows about it. They actually played in Milwaukee Metal Fest in like '92, and the name of the band was Demonomacy. And you can find videos on YouTube about it, and they kicked ass. They were so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like having an all female death metal band, yeah, it's very rare out there because, like you said, it's hard to find lifers of death metal
Yeah.
within that realm. But like, because when most people think of females in metal, they think of like gothic metal or symphonic metal for the most part,
Yeah.
which I love that stuff. For sure, I absolutely love like Epica, like Simone Simon's
Yeah.
phenomenal singer, but yeah, definitely hearing all ladies death metal is definitely very rare out there, but I'm glad that Castrator's out there and delivering that kind of death metal. The death metal I prefer, which is that like
Yeah.
somewhat middle land between old school death metal and even borders a little bit on brutal death metal, like
Yeah.
Suffocation, Dying Fetus, Broken Hope, that kind of side of things. Cannibal Corpse. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
need I
what
say
that's
more?
exactly what we were aiming for. That's literally what you just said is exactly what we always talked about, and because we're both that we came from that era, but we've been lucky enough to live this era of death metal. We've seen the whole evolution, so yeah.
Absolutely. And then, of course, like I brought up before we started recording, like how all the leads, or I might have brought up earlier during recording, about how the melodies and the harmonies on the guitars remind me a lot of Death's, which almost leads credence to me saying, like, perhaps overall Castrator kind of reminds me of the band Oppressor from Chicago a little bit, because for those who are unfamiliar, Oppressor was a death metal band from Chicago that was like tech death, but almost brutal death, but a lot of old school death metal touches. It's like it was almost like if you took early Suffocation and combined them with like Human and Individual Thought Patterns era death, because you get those like jazz breaks and melodies
Mhm.
in there too. So because with the new Castrator, definitely sounded like it was going for a slightly more technical approach in comparison to Defiled in Oblivion, because of like
Yeah.
the faster drumming at times, and then of course like Sarah delivering some awesome bordering on tech death riffs, but still retaining that old school death metal spirit. But of course, another thing I loved about the album, which you did comment about, was the cover of Metal Command by Exodus, and I swore I was convinced that Sarah and Gary did trade offs, but when you told me it was Gary and Taylor doing it,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Because I was so convinced that Sarah was just going back and forth with Gary, but no, it was Taylor. But no, Sarah did an awesome job. And then, of course, hearing Clarissa's vocals, like, when it
Yeah.
comes to, like, female death metal vocalists, like, the main ones people think of are Angela Gossow and Alyssa White-Gluz, both an arch enemy, which both amazing in their own right. But
Yeah.
if you ask me, I think Clarissa's the queen. Because
Yeah. So it is kick ass. Well, Angela was a huge influence for her. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's what happens with evolution. You inspire somebody, and then that somebody's gonna bring it to the next level. That's just how it's been with drumming, guitar, with everything. And so that's why for us it's so important to play tribute to the people that inspired us, and that brought us here.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Like
think so.
I would definitely love to pick Clarissa's brain on like how she does those vocals, because even listening to
I
Vicious
know.
Blade and hearing her gets absolutely feral with those like bordering
Yeah,
on black metal vocals too.
yeah,
Wow,
she's
hiccups.
awesome, and live she's awesome too. She kicks ass.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, a good way
but
to put it. Feral.
oh yeah, feral. Yeah, that's the way to describe Clarissa as a vocalist. Like, my God.
Yeah.
But sticking with old school death metal, because we could just do a whole show just talking about our favorite bands, honestly, because it's like, because the way I always do these chats with other musicians, I try and treat it less of an interview and more as like we're talking shop at a show, because it's
Yeah.
like, what do you think of the scene today? And like we could talk about that for a bit, but I prefer to just get down to the nitty gritty and like as if we're both just casual fans that mutually love the same stuff. But like, if you had to pick one old school death metal album to listen to for the rest of your life, I know that's a broad one, but if you had to, what would that album be?
Um, it's definitely hard, but it would be either. I think it would be Malevolent Creation, Ten Commandments. Also, Alex Marquez is a huge influence for me. It's just, I love that album. I mean, it's really hard. I do go back to that album a lot. Like, it's a kind of a staple for me. But also, it's always considered dead by Gorguts. It's really hard.
Yeah, like saying just one was a bit too much for me because I feel like I should have just said like if you could have a whole list. But if I had
top five maybe.
Yeah, maybe a top 5, but like if I had to pick just one, you'd probably have to go back to the origin, and that's Death Leprosy.
Yeah. Also Slayer. I mean, it's just like they're all so influential and so important. But yeah, Death for me, my favorite Death album is Spiritual Healing.
Yeah, it could change on a whim for me, like what my favorite Death album is. Like, I would probably still always say Symbolic is my personal favorite, just because I just love the prog aspects of it, and of course Gene Hoglan again. But like Leprosy's,
totally.
Leprosy's in the running.
Album is such a different, expression of.
Like every album, like I love how Chuck was able to evolve every single album to where it's like Scream Bloody Gore, amazing debut, still a bit on the thrashier end of the scale, and then you get to Leprosy, and it's like, oh my god, we have proper death metal now, like this is what death metal is supposed to be like. Then Spiritual Healing and Human, and it's like just... That's one of the reasons why I would argue. That's one of the reasons why I would arguably say the band with arguably the greatest discography in metal history would be Death, because like literally all 7 albums are classics. Even the album I like the least, which is Sound of Perseverance, I still absolutely love.
Yeah, I also love Immolation, Into Everlasting Fire.
Yeah, and of course Immolation would be in the running too for a favorite overall catalog.
Yeah, it's just so good. It's so good. It's just hard.
Yeah, it is difficult. Like, I could even say Broken Hope, Swamped in Gore would be in the running too, which... Funny you brought up Malevolent Creation. For the life of me, because I'm always on the hunt to get albums, I cannot find a copy of it or Retribution on CD. I can never find it. Even going on Discogs, and they want...
I love Retribution too. Retribution's fucking amazing.
Yeah, Yeah, and like you go to Discogs to find a decent like conditioned copy, and they want $70 for it. I'm like, you bastards!
Yeah, really?
Why must you kill me with this?
I'm gonna talk to Phil. Maybe he can print some more.
Maybe. Well, obviously, hoping he's doing better, because I heard he was going through some health issues.
I hope so too.
Yeah. But back to drummers again, because I mean we could just talk about drums too all day. If you had to pick like a few albums that like you heard the drums and was like, and you was questioning in your head like, how the hell are they doing this? Like, how are these drummers playing this well and precise? Because I mean, there's many albums we could bring up in that conversation, but if you had to pick a few that you heard the first time and made you want to play that similar style, what would those albums be?
Definitely Vader, Litany. Holy shit. Vader. Still today, super hard speaks to accomplish.
And rest in peace, Doc.
Absolutely. Um, this gorgeous. I don't remember the name of that album. Deeds of Flesh. Deeds of Flesh. Huge, huge. Like, what the hell is he doing? You know.
Oh, Mike Hamilton, you mad, mad, mad lad.
Yeah, but even before Mike Hamilton joined,
Hmm.
Reduced to Ashes wasn't Mike, and Reduced to Ashes was huge. Like, I was like, wow, I wish I could just play like that. Like, um, definitely Malign Creation. Because Alex Marquez, just the way he does fills is like holy shit. Well, what else?
I know there's so
Oh,
many.
Lee Harrison, Monstrosity. You know, Meshuggah. You know,
Yeah.
what the hell? Still today. You
Thomas
know.
Haka, how, going back to what we were talking about with Bleed, like, how he's able to play the double kicks along to the guitars while maintaining a simple beat with the arms,
Yeah,
but yet going hard on the feet.
it's
It's
not
like,
even simple because he does a lot of ghost notes and stuff. He's just an insane drummer. Insane drummer. Who else? I mean, there's a lot. Of just right now I can't
we
think of
might as
it.
well just
Really
name
good
them.
from Defeated Sanity.
Yes.
You know, chapters of Repugnance. Huge. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, some albums that, like, definitely got me into drumming more, like Mastodon, Blood Mountain, uh,
Mhm.
Leviathan, even as well, or really any Mastodon album, you're gonna get killer drums. I mean, because Bron
Yeah.
Daler's a king nowadays. Man, other ones. Again, back to Gene Hoglan and Dark Angel. Dark Angel, Darkness
Yeah.
Descends. I am still
Yeah.
mind blown at that drum
Oh,
performance.
great drummer. Yes, great
Oh
drummer.
man.
Definitely. I never got into Demo Borger too, but when I did hear that, I was like, that can't be real. Like, how is he
Oh yeah,
playing this?
Nick Barker. My God. And that's another drummer. You could put him in any band, and he would be
Oh
a
yeah,
perfect fit. No matter if it's grind, thrash, even doom metal. I think he could pull it
so
off
good.
to a T.
Yeah. Oh my god. And I mean, anything that Pete Sandoval's in, like anything that he did, like when I heard Morbid, and I was like, I want to play that. I want to play that.
Terrorizer.
Yeah. Terrorizer. Yeah.
Part of me
Yeah.
wishes now, because of what's been going on with Morbid Angel, that I Am Morbid band would start doing music of their own. Because if for
Yeah.
some reason we never get any more new Morbid Angel music, I would love that I Am Morbid band to carry on the legacy to a degree. Like
Yeah.
David and Pete and whoever else, just I would love to hear new music from them, or just Morbid Angel new music in general. I would like to hear, but who
Same.
knows? Who knows where that's
We've been
going?
through a lot. It's just so hard to keep a band together. You know, it's really, really hard. I mean, Castrator has been super hard, so I can only imagine like that level, like crazy. People just
Absolutely.
we're just so humans are just so complicated, and then life happens, and jobs and money. Money's a huge thing to stay, to not want to stay because there's no money in metal, and you put so much time and effort into something that's you just have to do it for the love of it. Some people
Hmm.
just fall out of love.
Yeah,
Most
and I
people.
can and I could say the same with my YouTube channel. Like I've been doing this on and off for 15 years, ever since I was in high school, and I've only
Yeah.
just now recently got to the 5,000 subscriber mark, and I don't make any money off of it because they
Oh
took my
yeah.
ads. They took my AdSense away because of a technical glitch that happened, and I can't fix it. But nowadays, I don't care to do it for the money. I do it because I love to, and love talking to people like
Yeah.
you, talking to friends, and meeting new
Yeah.
people. I mean, and then of course my Instagram, like I've been killing it on Instagram too, and it's amazing that I have so many new friends now because of YouTube and Instagram and social
Yeah.
media, which
It's
goes
all
into
it's all interconnected.
yeah. I thought I saw something fly in the background. I'm like, what the hell was that? But no, like, and of course that's a whole bigger topic to be had at a later date about social media. But that's a rabbit hole I won't go down further. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I'm actually been curious because I try looking it up on like the liner notes and everything. Who do you all collaborate together on lyrics, or is there like one particular lyric writer that just is like, this is what I'm saying and this is what we're going with?
It's both Robin and myself. We write all the lyrics, and then when we have a decent uh, outline of what all the lyrics are,
Hmm.
we share. Well, this time we shared it with Clarissa, um, and she had her opinions about it, and then we revise and revise until we get to the points where all that. But I do all the placement of the lyrics and the music because I'm like the main writer. We all write, but like I just for this album, I spent more time. I had the most time, and I guess it just happened that to be that way. Maybe in the future it will change. There's nothing set in stone. Yeah.
And it's funny you say it's you and Robin. Reminds me of the lyric writing duo of Alex Webster, Paul Mazurkowitz. It's the bassist and the drummer, the
Yeah.
rhythm section doing the lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just easier that way, just because it's better for the band to not have to, first of all, wait for more people or have more input. It's more compact like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've definitely been like writing lyrics for songs. This was years ago, like maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. Just out of the blue, I just started coming up with my own lyrics of stuff. Like, could I envision this being made into a song? Like, if I somehow sent these to somebody in a band and be like, "Hey, would you like to use these lyrics for a song and do whatever you want with them?" But I've not gotten to
Yeah.
that point yet. Like some of the stuff
It's
I
hard
was.
because like when it comes to writing lyrics, okay, so we always start with like main ideas, right? But like
Mhm.
you have to do what's best for the song, so you kind of have to have the song to be able to form the verses and the choruses and the bridges and all that. So like sometimes you just don't have enough, and then you just have to come up with more, or you have too much and you have to take away.
Right.
Yeah, so like that's how we work lyric wise. Like we shape the lyrics to the song structure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I actually don't even know if I still have these lyrics I was writing forever ago. I don't. Damn, that sucks. Because I had one, and I
You can always write
forgot.
more.
I could always write more, but like I had one song, lyrically written years ago that I was kind of going for like a Death Doom feel, kind of like Asphyx, Hooded Menace, maybe even a
Yeah.
little Paradise Lost, like that kind of vibe. And I was like, man, this came out pretty good. It'd be curious to see if a band would take these and put it into a song, but I just never got to that point, and I don't even have it anymore because I think what happened was it might be on one of my old hard drives back here that I got buried because with me switching computer parts, I don't have the old hard drive hooked up. I just got a new one, so I think it got lost in the
So it's
data
probably somewhere.
transfer. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
somewhere lost out in the deep void of technological space, but who knows? Maybe I would look back on them and as I am now and be like, man, this sucks. I could have done so much better with this. Like
Happens.
I could imagine any lyric writer when they first come up with something and they're so happy with it, and then they come back to it a week later and be like, "What the hell did I come up with here? Let me
Oh, totally.
let me
Yeah. I
retype,
mean,
rewrite."
but the thing with art, like any type of art, you can't. You gotta revise it, revise it, revise it. You have to take breaks. You have to come back to it, and you have to like with fresh ears or fresh eyes look at it again, and it's an amazing process. I love art because of that.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny with like how I do my videos. Most of the time, it's one take. I'm always like a one take dude. I don't like doing multiple takes unless it's for something outside of my YouTube channel, like doing like as if I'm doing a pro wrestling thing and I'm doing promos. Then obviously I'd have to. Wow, that one came out of nowhere. But like I obviously could revise stuff and like do multiple takes, like I have done that a few times in the past, but I don't know why. I just always seem to be a one take guy when it comes to at least video making. But obviously, with any kind of art, it's always great to explore different ideas,
Yeah.
whether it be like in the music world, the video making world,
Oh,
painting,
forget it. Video
food.
making. Yeah. Video making is very time consuming.
Yep. Well, luckily for me, because of how beefy my rig is, it takes me no time to edit and render stuff. Like, just to go to show you how crazy it is, let's say on average, an album review I do is about 9 minutes. I just place the clips, put them together, put little effects at the end for like the fade out, and put the cover art, the stars, and all that crap. And then when it comes to rendering, before with my old rig, which is all the way over there, it used to take like maybe 3.5, 4 minutes to render a 9 minute video. Now it's a minute. Just because
Yeah, that's
of
awesome.
just because of like, even though it took almost all the money out of me to get this rig, but I'm so glad I did. But anyways, enough about computers on my part. What I'm curious now is, I assume because any band out there always constantly writing and coming up with new ideas. Any ideas already being set in motion for the next album?
Always. Yeah. Yeah. I'm I'm always writing stuff down and coming up with new ideas. That's how you keep going. But this album just came out, so we're gonna play a bunch of shows and we're gonna try and promote it as much as possible. Some good announcements coming soon. The only thing we have announced so far is a Decibel in December in Colorado, but before that we're gonna go play. We're gonna play a big festival that's gonna be announced like next week, and then tour. It's also gonna be announced pretty soon. Yeah, so
Hell
we're
yeah.
stoked about that. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, definitely because, like, I've been going to more shows the past few years. Well, my first ever show I went to was Megadeth
Megadeth,
3 years
yeah.
ago. And, yeah, just because, like, it was always a thing, because I don't drive, so I always have to get dropped off at places, which I feel like an asshole for that. It's whatever. That whole another story for another time. But I have been going to more shows now. Like, I just went and saw Pantera, Monomarth, and Snafu back in July. Next month, I'm going to be seeing Alice Cooper, Judas Priest, and Corrosion of Conformity, which is going to be great. But
That's
obviously,
awesome.
thank you. But obviously, I want to start going to more club shows. I've only been to one club show thus far, and that was Exciter, Midnight Wraith, and Hellwitch last year.
Nice.
But yeah, if by some miracle you guys come out to Cincinnati or something like that, I would try to do my best to make it out to that one. Because
Yeah, so far
I'll be honest. Oh,
we
I'm
don't have
sorry.
anything that route, but yeah, we'll hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Because, like, as much as I like the outdoor venue shows that I've been to, which were Megadeth show, Gojira Mastodon, Pantera Monomarth, and all that stuff, as fun as that is, something about the club show that I went to last year was, like, extra special just because more intimate and it was a lot more fun. I almost got into the pit, but I was, like, maybe 5 feet away. I don't know. I feel like I could hold my own in a pit, but part of me is like, is it worth waking up the next morning feeling like complete ass? Like, oh god, I can barely walk.
Depends how much rage you have to let out. Some people need that rage. Yeah, that's the beauty of the pit.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I guess for me, I don't really have much rage in my soul. I
Yeah.
guess it would just mostly just to be like, oh my god, this looks cool. I gotta join in. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah.
but but no, I can remember one time, I think it was when SOD played a show in the 90s, and Billy Milano gets on top of the amps and freaking swantons off into the crowd while still singing. I'm
Yeah.
like, how in the hell did they do that? But what would you say, like, in terms of, like, whenever you've played shows and festivals, and obviously, especially with the festival circuit, you get to meet a lot of musicians and bands and such. Like, who would be the one band that you met at a festival that you were like, oh my god, is this for real? Is this really happening? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm meeting this band. Huh?
Well, I've had a lot of those moments actually, not because I'm playing, but because I've been working 70,000 tons of metal like for 10 years now, and there's always legends on that boat. I've been
Yeah.
lucky enough to meet, you know, freaking Sodom. Um, I love Sodom. Dave Lombardo I met on the boat too. Um, for big festivals, I don't know. I don't really meet per se like the artists, but I got to see them close, like so close by, like Carcass,
Oh,
or
yes.
yeah, like they're super cool. I don't know.
There's
I
too many to
don't.
mention. Too many to mention.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like always an honor to meet a legend, somebody that inspired you.
Yeah, like thus far, as far as like in-person meetings, as opposed to doing this, I think the biggest highlight for me would be whenever I went to that Exciter Midnight Wraith Hillwitch show last year. I actually did the VIP thing for Exciter because Daniel DK, the guitarist, I've actually been friends with him for about
Mhm.
5, 6 years. Like, I had him on the show back in 2020 during COVID and all that. Super awesome dude. And I was like, man, if you guys come to Cincinnati, I'm going to be
Yeah.
there. And we are going to
They
finally
throw
meet
a
in
great
person,
show.
dude.
Yeah, they throw a great show.
But yeah, I did actually get to meet Exciter and, of course, DK all the way on the
Nice.
left. Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome dudes. And funny enough,
yeah.
whenever I walked into the club, this was during the afternoon, so this was hours before the show. I got in there and he recognized me immediately and he gave me the biggest hug in the world. So I'm like,
Nice,
oh, that's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, he's super nice. We got to play with them in North Carolina Chainsaw Massacre, or Carolina Chainsaw Massacre is called,
Yeah.
and they threw a great show. Yeah, those guys are great.
Yeah, and then funny enough, that day right there was rather eventful because not only did I meet Exciter, but as the VIP stuff was ending and I was just outside, up comes this van and it's Jamie or Athanar from Midnight. So I met him twice, once without the costume and then once with the costume, which
Hmm.
was pretty funny. And then of all the places I get recognized at a show was there. I got approached and recognized in the crowd by Ben Ricketts from Acid Mass because he saw my YouTube channel and he's like, "Hey, you want to meet up?" Yeah, I'd love to meet up. And then he saw me in the crowd and we hung out. Good chunk of the show, and then he gave me both of his albums that he had, including his last one, and he gave me an early copy before it was even out. So I'm like,
Cool.
my God, like, what did I do to deserve this? I'm just a fucking normal YouTube guy. What? Who the fuck am I? But no, it's always fun not only to like meet other musicians, but also become friends with them. Like
Yeah,
now,
that's the beauty of the metal community. It's a beautiful community that we come together and help each other out. I mean, I love it. I freaking love our little community.
absolutely,
Yeah,
and
it's
like
always great.
yeah, and like going back to the point I was saying about like meeting musicians mostly through this, and then becoming friends with them. Like you are now one of them. James from Hell Ripper has become a pretty good friend of mine. I've had him on here twice. I need to get him back on here at some point because I know he's ramping up a new Hell Ripper album, which Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've become almost like a little, like I brought up before we recorded, how I've become a distant cousin of the Thralls of Metal YouTube channel, because all of us in the
Yeah,
same state, and I've visited them a few times. I also like to think of myself as now a bit of a distant cousin to the band Blood Red Throne,
I love
because
that band. Yeah.
oh yeah, I mean, the best death metal band out of Norway, even though there's not that many in Norway, because it's like, and again, it's like, it's no disrespect to any other metal band in Norway. It's just they got a lot of black metal there is the problem.
Yes,
It doesn't,
they're
like,
all
all
about
the
the
other
black
styles don't get enough
metal.
recognition.
Yeah.
But like, I've had
Well, our first guitar player in Castrator lived in Norway, Priscilla. She was great, but she was so far.
yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be tough, but like with
Yeah.
Blood Red Throne, I've grown to love that band for the last 6 years, and now
Oh yeah.
having almost everybody in the band on this show. The only ones I haven't gotten on here yet have been Daniel and Freddie, guitarist and drummer respectively. But as soon as I can get those two on there, I'm set. Well, I've been thinking about reaching out to their original bassist, Erlen Casperson, because his bass work's just mind blowing. I'd love to pick his brain on like how he attacks the bass and everything, but
So
it's
now
just
that you going back to that question that you asked me about what albums like left me like what the hell, Fun of Possession.
yeah. I've been needing to get into that band more. I don't know why. I just keep forgetting.
Insane, just musicianship and drumming and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
So about your
people always keep bringing up Spawn of Possession to me, and I always, for the life of me, story of my life, people tell me about bands, and I end up forgetting to check them out because
yeah,
only so
of
many
course, there's so
hours in
much.
the day, and there's only so many bands. It's
I
just,
know.
it's frustrating. It definitely is frustrating. Like, and I've had this discussion with myself a lot. Like, I talk to myself a lot about, like, man, if I could never sleep, and I didn't have a job, but I just had a computer, a working internet connection, and food and water, just to be able to check out everything. And even at that, I feel like it would still only put me up to like maybe 30%. You know, it is frustrating, but what I can check out, I'm always grateful for. Oh, I think your mic might have went out because I don't hear nothing.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're good now.
Yeah. So weird. It's with like my phone instead of my computer.
Oh yeah, that.
I don't know why is that.
But it's fine now. It's okay. Technology, everybody. The show wouldn't be what it is without some technical difficulty.
Get a text message and I was like, oh, and then that's why it went away.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So man, I'm actually now struggling a little bit now because I went down that rabbit hole. But oh yeah. So I had a thought and I lost it. My brain doesn't want to work right now. I hate this weather.
It's early on a Saturday morning. Well, not that early anymore.
Not that early anymore, but still, yeah, early for me. Like my sleep pattern is so fucked. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, I
But
wake up super early during the week because I work. I have to be at work at 6 in the morning every day. And today
yeah,
is like my only day to sleep in, but I barely do. Yeah. And I have to get started with homework pretty soon because I'm also a full time student, so
huh.
I'm so behind with homework. Ugh.
Well,
But I
actually,
always do.
now I remembered a question I was going to ask, and the last question I asked before we wrap this up. Because going back to CDs and such, are you a CD gal, a vinyl gal, digital? Where are you at in terms of how you listen to music?
I'm a little bit of everything, but when it comes to listening to music on a daily basis, it's just digital. And my car doesn't even have a CD player, and when I work out or whatever, I always walk with my phone. I'm not.
Hey, Mirror.
But I do really appreciate like when we make dinner or whatever, just playing a record. vinyl, or like I'm a huge classical music fan, so I have a lot of vinyl that is classical music because it just sounds way better and warmer. CDs, not so much. I do have a bunch of CDs, but I don't ever listen to CDs because it's not convenient for me. I don't have anything that plays a CD. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, like I always tell everybody, like the way I do it, it's like, yeah, I buy the CDs, but in terms of actually listening to it, it's on the computer or on my phone. Mainly because I do things the old school way, where you buy the CD and you load it into the CD player on your computer and put it on the
Mhm.
computer, so that way you have the best of both worlds. You could have something
Yeah,
physical to reference, but also have something on the go. I guess that's the
yeah,
big one, the big, and also the price obviously helps.
yeah,
Which,
yeah,
granted, I love vinyl too in terms of like having something huge in your hand and like you can just hold it and stare at the cover
yeah.
all the live
It's
long
the whole
day.
experience. Yeah, the whole
The experience
experience.
behind it too,
Yeah,
but obviously costs more than double of what you can get on a CD, and it takes
yeah.
up way more space.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, that's the big issue I have with
yeah,
vinyl. But that's why I've always been the CD guy. And hard to
yeah.
believe that that collection had gotten started in 2013 and had been
Mhm.
like on and
Yeah,
off for years. Well, it really ramped up back in 2021 because and little secret for you. Every Christmas on the show, a lot of us hosts try and get together to do an episode where we talk about our favorite albums every year, but we also get each other a Christmas gift. Most of the time, we
yeah,
gift albums. I gift Ricky an album or two. He gifts me an album or two. Or another friend of ours, Raphael from Florida, he'll send like a shirt, like my Death Spiritual Healing and my Obituary shirt I got from him for Christmas
nice.
a couple times. But yeah, it's just a tradition we've done. And it was like after we did it in 2020, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start buying albums again because I haven't for a long time getting back into it. I think at that point, 2020, 2021, I think I had like maybe 300 CDs at that point. Now, 4 years later, 1,600.
Nice.
I have gone mental, some people would say. People would tell me, sir, you have a problem. I'm like, no, I don't have a problem. I can quit anytime I want. And if there's an intervention for me, I'm not fucking showing up.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with collecting music.
Oh,
It's what you
no.
like to do. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, like, discovering, like, different versions over the years. Like, I used to
yeah,
have the remasters of a couple of Megadeth albums. Hate the mix and the drums on them. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back, see if I can find the OG copies for a decent price. Thankfully, I have. So,
yeah,
yes. And that's the other
yeah.
beautiful part of collecting is that you never know what you come across.
Mhm.
Sometimes,
Oh yeah.
whether you buy online or you're at a flea market or the record shops, the whole
Yeah,
nine yards.
that's one of the reasons why I like Bandcamp so much. Is because Bandcamp has kind of like brings you that old school feel of finding like new albums or old albums. Like they just
Hmm.
have this kind of like old school platform about music. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then one final thing to wrap up on, I wanted to ask one final thing, and as because we talk old school death metal, are you familiar with the band Time Ghoul by any chance?
Time Ghoul?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'll send you a link on your Instagram, and for anybody else, Time Ghoul is awesome. So yeah, Time Ghoul, they were a death metal band from the 90s out of Missouri. They were only around from like 91 to 94 and they only did two demos. I always think of them as like this is what Blood Incantation emulates. Like
Oh,
musically,
cool.
thematically, it's basically Blood
Maybe,
Incantation before Blood Incantation was formed.
maybe I did hear. I remember because my boyfriend he plays. he toured with Blood. Well, he plays for Immolation, and they went on tour with Blood Incantation a few times. And every time he comes back from tour, he always has this crazy, bands from like back in the day. And maybe that's one of the bands that he showed me. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
If not, I'll ask him. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible death metal, almost progressive death metal too, because of the different mood shifts. But it's like I often describe Time Ghoul as like what would happen if Morbid Angel and Suffocation met together and they had friends who loved. What is it?
They don't play anymore.
Nah, they broke up in '94 after their second demo, but like I think of them musically as like if Morbid Angel and Suffocation met and they met friends who loved prog, doom metal, and black metal and mashed it all together, because there's like black metal tremolos here and there, and there's a lot of Morbid Angel, some Suffocation breakdowns, some doomy sections. But the songwriting, it's very bonkers, very proggy and avant-garde. So it's like I said, like I said, for people who love Blood Incantation, they would love Time Ghoul too.
I just saw them. They came with the tour for Absolute Elsewhere.
Yeah.
And great show. Yeah, those guys are awesome. I love Blood Incantation. And another band that didn't mention that is a huge influence for me and them is Demilich.
Oh yeah, Demilich. Yeah. I hope they make a new album someday. Oh man, I would love to hear new Demilich.
Let's Fight is the one and only.
Yep. And also, message to my friend from Canada, Hunter. Demilich rules and Nancy Bowman's awesome. You're wrong, kid.
Yes. They are. They're the best. And they just played here in Cleveland like 2 years ago. I went to see them, did a tour, and they're so good. Still.
Yeah.
So good.
But like I said, I will send you the links to like the Time Ghoul stuff for you to check out and whatnot.
Do, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. But anyways, I think we're going to wrap up the show here. So yeah, a little shorter than typical, but hey, life gets in the way. But hey, it was still a fun time to have you on, Carolina. Hopefully we can come back for... Yeah, hopefully we can come back for a part 2 and maybe even get some more of the band involved in this, because it'd just be a good time. And maybe, hopefully, my other pals, Ricky and Hunter, could be on here too, and that way it could be like...
Yeah, we can like schedule it for like later in the day, and then we can maybe have Clarissa and Robin and Sarah, who knows.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We got a party.
Yeah, a big party, and it'd be a first having a whole band on the show. Yeah. That would be awesome. But anyways, again, thank you, Caroline, for joining me, and thank you, everybody watching on when this gets posted. It'll be on Wednesday, so it'll be after all the reviews and such. As far as what's coming up for the show, we're still working on getting Dallas Toller Wade on the show. It's just a matter of getting scheduling down, as well as with Arthur Risk. And who knows, maybe we'll finally get to the long-awaited John McEntee episode that had been years in the making. But thank you all so much for watching this episode. But until next time, all you metalheads, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.